Good girl. Good con. What a good bird. What makes parrots so expensive? Is it their beautiful colors? Oh, it's okay. Hi, I'm Kaylin, the author of The Parrot Bliss Bond. Please be sure to get your copy on Amazon so that you have your handbook to providing a quality life so you can then have quantities of fun with your incredibly beautiful exotic parrot that flies. Now, what makes parrots so expensive? Oh, first, welcome to my channel. I have 22 species of parrots. I love parrots. Parrots are my bliss. And I love trying to help you increase your bliss with your parrots as I simultaneously try to keep my camera from being eaten by these big beaks. So now I've got my Hans Macaw Emerald. What makes a parrot so expensive? First, let me explain what it's like to keep a parrot for you so that you have an idea of some of where that cost comes from. Oh, pretty wings. Regardless of the size of the parrot, whether it's a big macaw or a little parrotlet, parrots require a lot of maintenance. First of all, of course, in addition to the parrot, you have to get them a cage so they have a place where they are at least at night. The cage has to be pretty big because they need some room to really open up their wings. Their wingspan is usually longer than they are from head to the end of their tail. So that's like a pretty good amount of space. On top of that, they tend to get their cages dirty. A lot of parrots just drop their droppings, and so just the bottom of their cage is going to be dirty. For that, for example, we power wash the rail, and the rail keeps them from going down to the soiled food. And then the bottom tray that keeps paper and the soiled food. And we power wash that and we change out the paper. We do that as often as possible. And then depending on the parrot, some parrots also get their cage soiled, so their cage needs to be power washed as well. It winds up being a fair amount of cleaning. On top of that, parrots need fresh water and pellets and fresh vegetables, and then sometimes nuts and seeds every day as well. That means that at least once a day you have to change out their water. Hi, sweetie, calm down. There you go. Is that some nice pets? Emerald, hi. You have to make sure that they have nice clean pellets. In other words, if they've gotten anything like droppings on their pellets, it needs to be changed out. Or if they got some fresh food on their pellets, which doesn't really happen in my flock, but if you happen to put their fresh food on their pellets and it sits, it'll get bacteria. So that means that in my house and for my flock, they always have 3, if not 4 dishes. A water dish, a pellet dish, a fresh vegetable dish that goes out and then gets collected in a couple hours, and if they need it, either a nut dish or a seed dish, because some of my parrots require seeds as a part of their diet, and some of my other parrots, like Emerald here, require some nuts. Emerald's small, so she doesn't require as many, but there are a lot of species that require nuts in their diet. 4 dishes that need to be kept clean and that need to be, refilled every day, that can get to be quite a bit. In addition to that, you need to spend time with your parrot, and in addition to that, boy, they make a mess. If you have parrots in your home, you're going to be sweeping, mopping, vacuuming around their cage all the time. So that gives you an idea of some of the day-to-day energy, effort, and time that goes into maintaining parrots. Of course, annually, they should go visit the vet. And so you might also have medical bills on top of those food bills and the labor cost of your time or hiring someone to make sure that they have all of their fresh stuff and that their area is clean. because parrots will not reproduce. Breeders know they have to give them a really good diet, and they have to keep their areas, their environment really clean if they want them to produce babies. Now, smaller parrots are going to breed more readily and more consistently. And what that means is, for example, my parrotlets can easily breed 3 times a year, and they can have 4 to 6 eggs in a clutch. Sometimes it's less, it can be 7. A bigger bird, like my macaws that were just out here, they might breed twice a year, and generally speaking, they're going to have 1 to 3 babies. So a bigger macaw like that, their food and their nuts provide a bigger bill. In other words, it's more costly to maintain them because they require more space, they require more cleaning, they require more food, and they require more nuts that are more expensive. All that for 1 to 3 babies a year. So hopefully I'm starting to paint a picture that will give you the sense that if someone is breeding parrots, one of the things about it is a very time-intensive thing. For example, if I was going to breed an animal and I could make parrots breed the way dogs do, I could bring in a stud to get my studette pregnant and then give the stud back, just pay a fee and then have a litter of parrots. That would be fantastic. It does not work that way with parrots. Generally, parrots have to have a mate and they have to be bonded to the mate. If you bring, for example, a macaw, a second macaw, and the macaw doesn't like the macaw, you're not going to get babies, period. If they do like each other, you'll probably get babies. That's assuming that they want to breed, because there's no way to force a parrot to breed. I don't know whether or not you could force a dog to breed, but you certainly can't force a parrot to breed. So that means that you have to maintain the 2 parrots, and if something happens and one of them escapes or dies or something, you have the cost, the time, the investment, and nothing to show for it. Additionally, most parrot species, especially the ones that are medium to large size parrots, they won't breed until they're like 3 to 5 years old. So for example, I have 2 pairs of caiques. I was hoping to have baby caiques, and one of my pair of caiques is finally breeding for the first time. I have a DNA'd female and a supposedly DNA'd male. That DNA'd male is looking egnant. My daughter's going, "Mom, I think you have 2 hens." And I'm going, "Oh no." So you're probably getting a sense that breeding is riddled with challenges. It's not impossible, and breeders who have plenty of land and are really able to provide their parrots nice flight cages, the space to breed and all that, they can really create a collection of parrots that will do well and that can breed. But it is, again, time intensive, labor intensive, and there is a lot to it. So I hope you can get a sense that, when you're buying a baby parrot, you're paying for that baby's life, but you're also paying for everything that created and led up to that baby's life, which includes all of this labor, all of this food, the materials for the parrot, constant supply of wood for them to chew on top of their food and stuff like that. It is quite crazy. Then, of course, when parrots do lay eggs, it can take them a couple of seasons to learn how to be parents. There are some parrots, one of my friends just informed me that caiques are not the best parents, and so that could be a problem. But there are a lot of parrots that when they lay their first clutch or 2 or 3, their eggs will either be infertile or they won't know how to take care of their babies. So it's kind of crazy, everything that goes into this exotic pet. And therefore, the exotic price that goes with the exotic pet, well, it's there for a pretty darn good reason. It's not like breeders are sitting on top of a pile of money, like, not Donald Duck, but his uncle, it's Scrooge McDuck, sitting there in his vault in a pile of gold coins because they sold him a macaw. It's not like that at all. Most breeders that I've ever met, and I've met several over the years, work their tails to the bone, and a lot of them are like, hindsight, I think I would have chosen something else. Because they may love the parrots and they may love what they're doing, but 365 days, they don't get a day off, they don't get sick days, they don't get vacation days, because you have to take care of your parrots every single day. When I meet people, I'm like, yeah, I only work on the days that end with a Y. Those are the days I give out birdie breakfast, I check on my birds, I change their paper, I do this, I do, it's endless. Because you have to monitor them and you have to make sure that they're doing well and that they didn't knock over their water or something, you know, didn't get in their food. Who knows? It's crazy. So it is quite an incredible thing, really. And there's a reason that they are exotic. I think that's a fair title. So really appreciate your exotic parrot, because you wouldn't believe sometimes how much work goes into getting your exotic parrot either from the breeder to you or from the breeder to the exotic bird store where you got them. It's quite a bit, a lot of time, a lot of love, a lot of effort. And then, boy, I didn't even talk about hand feeding the babies, because that can be almost around the clock and around the clock job. So believe me, a lot goes into it. So if you have an exotic parrot like me, make sure to bliss out on them. I would say give them a kiss, but I don't think you should kiss those beaks. Instead, you know, just kind of go kiss, hug, so you don't get bitten. Don't get bitten on my account, please. Thank you for joining me in my blissful video. I hope you really shift your perception about what it takes to bring a exotic parrot into your home, because it takes quite a bit. And I hope you can look at them with a new light of appreciation. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to comment below, and I will catch you in the next feathered video.